All right, made it to the spot, and welcome to the first almost freezing episode. Almost. I am so stoked to finally have some weather. I should probably put a jacket on, maybe. It's just, oh my God, I love cold. I love it when it gets cold. I love being cold. I mean, not being cold, but I love being in cold weather. Oh, so good. And in southern New Mexico, we don't get that very much. I can't find my jacket. All right, so what are we doing today? I've got two goals today. First goal, I found when we were here the other day, this is a spot I come to very, very often near my house. And I was doing the, the 85mm landscape challenge. And I found this shot that I took on my phone, and I really liked it. So I want to try that again with this. So I'm filming on my, oh look, winter boots. I'm finally ready. It's middle of December, and it's the first and probably only time I'm gonna get to use my winter boots for a while. I'm very excited about that. Anyways, I found this shot, and I wanted to do a better shot than just with the phone. So I'm gonna try that. I'm using the 16mm, the RF16 2.8, and the R5. And then the other goal is, as you can tell right now, I wanna see how good this 16mm does for vlogging. So I've tested the 16mm for astro stuff, and I have done some like regular video, but I haven't tested it for vlogging yet. And that's one of the reasons why I bought this lens, was for video and vlogging, because it's just so small and compact and light, and it's very happy for the landscaping, YouTubing photographer that I am, or that I try to be. Okay, so we made it to the spot. So we've got all of this area. We've got clouds are moving this way, which I have a plan for that. Hopefully that'll work. It is really, really windy. I'm hoping that the mic is gonna do a really good job, like it does. And hopefully you won't notice that, but we're not really working on the audio. We're not really focusing on the audio part of this vlogging part. We're focusing on the video. So what I want is, I need to find that dragon egg thing. I don't remember. It was back that way, huh? Because it was in the other spot. Okay. All right, so now this is a good test because I'm on really rocky ground. And all I have on is the regular IBIS in the R5 right now. I don't have the enhanced or the digital enhanced stabilization on. I don't know if I would really use that, because I just don't like the look of it. I would prefer to stabilize it in post. So this should be a good example of, should be a good example of what it's like vlogging on a non-stabilized lens with the R5. Okay, I think we're getting closer. Look at this business. Let me see. I love all of these rocks. So I'm also a geologist, and these rocks are all rhyolite, which is a volcanic rock formed from some of the largest volcanic eruptions on the history of the Earth, about 35 to 29 million years ago, in the Oligocene flare-up, for those interested. And now back to your regular scheduled photography adventure. We're starting, You know what? I think it's over here. All right, let me put this down. Well, let me put this up so I can get back to hiking for a second. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want it. This is the X pattern that I'm talking about right there, and I really like that. So I don't know if we move it down, we make the rock look larger, right? So I might take a shot like that. And if we move it up though, then we get the rock in the background. I'm thinking actually something like that, because the way the shadows are too, we're having a really defined X pattern there and some side light on that rock. I'm not stoked 100% on that tree, but I'll deal with it, I guess. All right, well, this isn't the best light for this composition, actually. I definitely wish that I had better light. When we came out here, there was way better clouds out there, and now they're all kind of going because we have 50-mile-an-hour winds. But we can see like how the light hitting that rock, on one hand, it is doing a good job of a foreground separation, but on the other hand, it's like I want this side, right? And I like that, but then that rock is in the shadow or everything else is blown out. So it might require, I might back up on my word and like what I said earlier and do a little bit of HDR, a little bit of bracketing, because again, I really like something like that. Actually, I like that maybe even more than the vertical. Whoa, stepping down. Yeah, that's looking kind of cool. And there's the sun. Okay, so as the sun goes down, getting a sun star in there somewhere might look cool. So maybe I'll see if I can give that a try. So here's another thing that I'm looking at. I'm noticing the sun star. I'm not stoked on it 100%. It's all right. It's definitely not the worst I've seen, but it's definitely, I don't like it as much as the 16 to 35 f4 and the EF version. But that's what the Sunstar is looking like. I grabbed a couple of stills and I'll edit them out up and see if I'll end up liking them. Just thought I'd throw that in there because for me, as a landscape photographer, when I'm shooting wide, I really love my Sunstars. All right, well, I just did a quick time lapse there of the light changing, and I had said we were gonna go back to the car, and we did, and camera lady is sitting in the car under lots of blankets, but the clouds have changed. As you can tell, it's completely overcast now, and there is a sliver under where the sun can go or is setting, and I'm thinking if I can get set up at the Dragon Egg, I have to get back to the Dragon Egg. If I can get set up there before the sun hits that sliver, then I'll have a really good chance of getting a better image. Even the clouds are better for long exposures right now too, so I'm gonna try something. But I need to get hiking. Oh, also, this is a quick vlog test. Now I'm on the 16 to 35, which has image stabilization, and I'm walking down a similar area to that. So we'll see how that looks. Okay, I've got dragon egg there, bag down there, 16 mil on the R5 there. So now I do have the tripod out, and what I want now, let's see. So we're gonna have to go a longer exposure because I still want f16. I want f11 probably. We're gonna go higher ISO. So now you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, so let's bring this up. This is as high as my little tripod will go. So there's the X pattern again, and we're in video mode, so we're cropping off a little bit. But you guys get the idea. And then if we pan up, just look at those clouds. So now let me bring this down. Look at how perfectly streaky those clouds are coming this way. That's what I want. All right, so I'm gonna, that was the horizontal. I don't have my L bracket on here anymore. So that was the horizontal. Now I'm going to go for a vertical. All right, now we have a lot more room. That all right, check this out. That is more of what I'm looking for. We've got that X pattern. I'm going to bring it up like that to stretch out the X pattern a little bit. We've got a lot of sky. I'm going to end up cropping, but we're still going to get a lot in there. I might back it up just a tad. And now that we don't have those harsh shadows on the dragon egg, that's cool. So this will definitely give me something to work with here. All right, we're back into photo mode. I'm going to focus on the dragon egg, f16, ISO 100. So I might bracket this. As I'm looking, the clouds right there, they're moving just enough to where I think they're going to block the sun out. There was like a sliver of a chance that it was going to get under there, and if it gets under there, it's going to light up all this amazing streakiness, but I don't think it will. So right now, my best hope is these really high, the Alto Cirrus clouds. If they light up, at least they're in a really cool pattern, and they're kind of sweeping this way, which is all of my lines are coming this way too. So the cloud mimicking those lines is going to be great. So let me see if I can fiddle with the composition a little bit more and make something happen. Okay, back on the 16, vlogging on the RF16 with the R5. I'm really glad I stayed. You can't, let me see. Auto, damn it. Hold on. There. Look at that. It's slightly in the wrong direction that I wanted, but it's okay. I got some great shots. This is time-lapsing, and I'm very happy that I put that in a very good spot. All I need now is for the stuff right underneath the sun to light up. But even if it doesn't, that is a beautiful way to end. And I'm very happy with that. And then you have the nice chill contrast, or I mean the nice chill soft light down here, and it's nice and even, and that's the point, is very even light. Very happy about that. I think these are gonna be nice, and we'll be able to compare to earlier with the sun stars and stuff. Although, yeah. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. We're done here. I'll see you back in the studio in just a second. Okay, it's working. The sun is going under there. I had to switch to my phone because this is my R6 that I was filming with, and I decided to do a time lapse. I'm doing a time lapse with the 16 to 35. That way I can do my classic, well, I'll have my time lapse, but then I'll also be able to If the clouds light up, then I'll be able to time blend and do a long exposure blend out of that. But right here with the R5, I've got the best of both worlds now. So I'm focused on the rock, f/16, and I'm bracketing, and I'm just gonna do two under, one over, and there it is. So this is actually proving to be perfect. One under just might do it. f/16, 1/6 of a second, ISO 100, R5 focused on the dragon egg. I don't care about focus bracketing because I'm a good 8 to 10 feet away from the dragon egg there, from the closest thing that I'm focusing on, and I think that's going to be good enough for government work. It's going to be right under there. This Sunstar is just getting so good. I will say that the Sunstar definitely from the 16 to 35 f4 is definitely better than the Sunstar from the 16 f2.8. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but you know, it's not bad though. The Sunstar from the RF16 is not bad. I don't mind it. It's not horrible. I've definitely seen worse. All right, well, I'm gonna get back to shooting this because there's just not much else that I can really walk you guys through. I've got the vertical, and then we'll hop back in on the computer and I'll show you some of the images. And then I haven't looked at any of the footage for the vloggy bits yet from the filming with the 16mm for vlogging, so we'll check that out. And then it's chai time. I said it was chai time earlier, but it's definitely chai time now. Back in the studio, we've got tea, we've got images, we've got footage. I have already started to look at the footage from the vlogging bits from the 16, and I think as far as it goes, it's acceptable to me. Obviously I was out in very unsteady, uneven ground, and that made, you know, a big difference in terms of my shaking and the up and down and all of that. But the IBIS on the R5 I think did all right. I'm not the hugest fan of the IBIS on the R5 and the R6 with the super wide stuff because it still does give a little bit of that jiggle in the corners there that you can sometimes see, although it's not nearly as bad as it was when it first came out after Canon put out the software update or the firmware updates for the R5 and the R6. The IBIS has been doing a lot better. So, I mean, personally, I'm going to continue to use it. I think it's fine. You know, this is what I bought this lens for being out in places like this and for going on big long hikes and for the times when I just want to carry like as little as possible. For video, I think that the RF16 is going to do really well. Another thing that it looks like is that the video is getting the in-camera corrections because we're not seeing that harsh super wide and vignetting and all of that. So that's a nice touch to have those in-camera profile corrections seemingly be applied. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows for sure if that's happening or not, but for video it doesn't seem to be as bad as looking at the raw images. So let's segue into the raw images and let's jump into the computer for a minute, and then I'll give my final thoughts after I do a little bit of editing and a little bit of comparison with the 1635. All right, so maybe I want to start with a couple of these that I was walking around after I finished everything up on the way back to the car, and I found this nice little puddle, and this puddle is tiny. It was like a foot, you know, in diameter or something. But again, exaggerating that 16mm and using the distortion to your advantage and angles and everything can make it look bigger. So I really kind of like this. So one thing that I want to show you guys real quick, and I mentioned this in the Astro video, but if you haven't seen that yet, then the RF16 is not actually a 16. It's more like a 13 and a half or something like that. And you'll notice the heavy vignetting on the corners here. You can see it's really dark right there. And the vignetting is really dark, and you can almost see like that's actually like the edge of the sensor, or barrel looking, you know, like almost fisheye style. And that's because Canon designed the lens to be wider than it is, and then to have the corrections crop into a 16 to fix it. So we don't have the full corrections yet, but if we come down here, we can, they do have the new 14 to 35, and I find that that does a pretty decent job. So you can see pulling that, it does a good job with both the vignette and the distortion, cleaning that up a little bit. So I'm going to continue using that for now until someday Adobe will get the RF16 profile for this lens. But I just wanted to mention that real quick. Alright, so I'm going to edit up a couple of these images, and then I'm going to edit an image from the 16 to 35 for a little comparison, and we'll see. Alright, well, in terms of image quality, again, from a non-scientific standpoint, without charts and tripods and measures and pixels and all of that, from the couple of images that I took kind of side by side with the 16 and the 16 to 35 f4, I would definitely say the 1635 f4 is still a little bit sharper. It's definitely better in the corners. It definitely has better sun stars and slightly better flare control, and probably a lot of that is to contribute to the fact that the 1635 f4 is an L series lens. Even though it's an EF lens, it's still an L series, and it does have those higher end fluorine coatings and stuff. So I think, you know, the little things like that, the 16 to 35 is going to edge it out a little bit. However, when you talk about price and size and weight, all three of those things, the RF 16mm, and then the fact that you can do 2.8, all of that kind of crush everything else. So taking that slight hit in image quality and flaring and all of that kind of stuff, I think for the price is, for me personally, again, I can't speak for everybody else, but I can speak for how I shoot and the things that I want to shoot. For me personally, I'm willing to take that hit, especially because I'm not getting rid of my 16 to 35 f4. I will be keeping that for quite a while, at least until I can replace it with the RF 14 to 35. But that's a lot more expensive, so that's gonna have to wait a little bit. But let me know what you think. If you have any questions about the 16mm, that wasn't like, you know, this obviously wasn't a full review or anything, but if you have any other questions or anything you want to know about it, leave those in the comments below, and you know, I'll definitely answer. Hit that like button if this video helped you out. If you're still here, that's amazing, and I super appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.